In the headlines, troops foil terrorist attack on Zamfara community, neutralize several terrorists, recover rustled cattle. All Progressives Congress holds NEC meeting in Abuja, pegs presidential nomination form at 100 million naira. Over 10,000 might go jobless as Kano state government considers shutting down motor park. And on the foreign scene, Polish coal mine explosion kills 4, injures 21 and 7 others missing. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. Now the news in detail. Troops of Operation Hatlerin Daji have foiled an attack on Sabangari area of Bakura town in Zamfara state on Tuesday, 19th April, by suspected terrorists. It also neutralized several of the terrorists, while others escaped into the forest with gunshot wounds after a fierce encounter with the troops. The terrorists, in large numbers armed with sophisticated weapons, launched an attack on the Sabangari community, started shooting sporadically to scare residents away, and succeeded in rustling a large number of cattle. Troops deployed at Bakura local government area of the state responded promptly and engaged the terrorists in a fierce gun battle that lasted for about 2 hours. The troops' superior firepower forced the terrorists to abandon the rustled cattle and flee towards Kurunkudu into the forest with high degree of gunshot wounds. 5 locals sustained injuries during the attack and are currently receiving treatment at the General Hospital, Bakura. The Nigerian Air Force has confirmed the death of 2 officers in the crash involving one of its trainer aircraft in Kaduna State. NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabkwet, in a statement on Wednesday, identified the officers as Flight Lieutenant Abubakar Al-Ali and Flight Lieutenant Elijah Karatu. He reveals that the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, visited Kaduna a day after the aircraft crashed, killing the officers on board at the NAV base in Kaduna. Gabkwet explained that the Air Force Chief was in Kaduna to commiserate with families, friends, and colleagues of the 2 pilots. Amao, according to the NAV spokesman, promised that the Air Force would ensure it thoroughly investigates the causes of the crash or the course of the crash of the Super Mushak trainer aircraft. 2 leaders of the People's Democratic Party in Bassa local government area of Plateau State have been shot dead. They were killed when they accompanied Honorable Musa Aga, member representing Jos North Bassa constituency in the Plateau House of Assembly, on a thank-you tour of Bassa local government area. The spokesperson of the Plateau State Police Command, ASP Uba Gabriel, who confirmed the development, also said the attackers shattered the vehicle of the lawmaker. He said investigations was ongoing to unravel the perpetrators of the attack. The Uruguay ethnic group in Bassa has condemned the attack and called on security operatives to fish out the perpetrators of the dastardly act. Also, the PDP in Plateau has condemned the attack, saying people of the state are in danger. Still on security, a newly elected councillor in Katsina State was shot dead by bandits when they went on rampage late Tuesday into the early hours of Wednesday. Alhaji Nasiru Magaji, the late councillor who was popularly known as Nasiru BS, was killed in Gozaki town of Kafur local government area of the state. The late councillor, who was shot in his residence, was rushed to a hospital in Malamfashi, where he was confirmed dead. A resident of Gozaki, Abdullahi Gozaki, said the gunmen, who were about 10 in number, also abducted the 2 wives of the slain councillor, but later released them. Gunmen on Monday night abducted 5 people in Udo village of Akbo in Ugwata local government area of Anambra State. The victims reportedly attended a wedding ceremony and were on their way back when the criminals got hold of them. A short message credited to the Commissioner for Special Duties in the state, Sly Ezokenwa, indicated that the kidnapped victims attended a traditional marriage ceremony hosted by the Commissioner's cousin. It further indicated that the ugly incident happened at about 10 p.m. Police Public Relations Officer in the state, DSP Tochukwu Ekenganya, confirmed the sad development, but said that police had started making efforts to free the victims. And in politics, members willing to participate in the presidential primary elections of the All Progressives Congress are to pay 100 million naira for the nomination and expression of interest forms. Similarly, the nomination and expression of interest forms for those seeking the party's ticket to contest the governorship election in their respective states cost 50 million naira. APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Morgan announced this on Wednesday at a briefing with reporters in Abuja. Before the briefing, the party spokesman, President Buhari, presided over an extraordinary emergency meeting of the APC National Executive Committee. In preparation for the election, the NEC resolved to vest its powers on the National Working Committee of the party for the next 90 days. The resolution followed a motion moved by Senator Lowang and seconded by Speaker Gbajabiamila. Kano State Transport workers operating in Kano Line Motor Park are appealing to the state government to reconsider its decision to shut down the motor park, as it may render over 10,000 people jobless. Trust TV's Idris Jibrin reports that the state government has already shifted the transporters to a nearby building pending the final closure of the park.
Situated along Zaria Road in Kano metropolis, Kano Line Motor Park is the most popular and perhaps one of the largest motor parks in Kano. There are well over 10,000 people benefiting from this park who are now at the risk of losing their jobs. There are over 5,000 of us working here at interval. Before now, we were criminals living in Island. But when Konkoso established this park, we were relocated here, making a living. Now, if they close this park, do they want us to go back to the life of crime again? According to these people, the state government is yet to provide them with any other alternative as to where they should relocate to, apart from these nearby building, which forces many vehicles to park and load passengers from outside the main park. Actually, Ganduje need to look at these people to temper justice with mercy, because he knew that this park was given to us by his political brother, Rabiu Konkoso. Like me, I have been working here from my childhood. In fact, if it's a government work, I will be due for retirement in few years to come. For God's sake, if you send me away from here, where will I go? Meanwhile, the Kano State Transport Authority confirmed that the park is being relocated to another location and that the intention is not to render any person jobless, but to ensure that there is control in the number of motor parks across Kano State.
There is no responsible government that would like to render its citizens jobless. Any place that you see government is about to embark on a program, there must be measures that have taken prior to the taking of that activity. So definitely there is a place that government have carved out of that place for them to relocate.
For now, these transport operators have already been shifted from the main Kano Line Motor Park to a nearby building on a temporal basis before the final shutdown of the park. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Federal government ASU urged to end face-off. Do stay with us.
My name is Tope Fashua. We'll be speaking economics, business, finance, sociology, and politics, all with an aim to contribute our best quota to the upliftment of our fatherland, Nigeria. So what do you think is wrong with our fiscal policy in Nigeria?
A lot of things are wrong. First, I think we have issues with our budgetary plan, which serves as the foundation of the fiscal policy. I mean, federal government's budgetary plan.
Is it true that decentralized banking seeks to eliminate central banking, and how?
Well, in theory, decentralized finance is actually designed to have the potential to eliminate central banking, but I would say decentralized finance is or does not currently have the potential to eliminate central banking.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
This is Candid Talk on Trust TV with Zainab Suleiman Okino. We look at various issues affecting us as a people and discuss it with a view to changing things for the better.
Those things are a reflection of the peculiarities of our society as Nigeria, and also things you see in a developing country like ours. Don't forget that Nigeria is more of a nation of many nations, if you would.
So you must have known so much now about cervical cancer.
My knowledge of cervical cancer revolves just around my wife and the symptoms she went through. I just couldn't bring myself to read about it. But unlike her, she was all over the net, studying it, reading about it.
Are those wishing or wanting to lead now, do you think they have proper training?
Now we are in democratic dispensation. You can't just say, okay, I've lead politics, let me just go and be a technocrat and allow politics. No, you must get people that are well-to-do, even technocrats should get involved so that their decision can be able to reshape the future of the country.
Welcome back and thanks for staying. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that troops foiled terrorist attack on Zamfara community, neutralized several terrorists, recover rustled cattle. You also heard that All Progressives Congress holds a NEC meeting in Abuja, pegs presidential nomination form at 100 million naira. On education, the National Examinations Council has rescheduled the 2022 National Common Entrance Examination, which is conducted for admission into Federal Unity Colleges. The examination was earlier scheduled to hold from 23rd April 2022 to 7th May 2022. A statement by the head of Information and Public Relations Division, Aziz Sani, said the postponement was due to low registration of candidates. Sani said with new dates expected to be announced in due time, the postponement will give more parents and guardians the opportunity to register their wards for the examination. Meanwhile, the federal government and the Association of Staff Union of Universities have been urged to find a lasting solution to the ongoing strike, which is bedeviling the standard of education in the country. The Vice-Chancellor of Nasarawa State University, Professor Suleiman Bala, made the call in an interview with Trust TV. The report.
Speaking on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor of the university, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Aruna Ayuba, further explained that the strike has not just affected the students, but also the lecturers. He commended the move being made by various stakeholders in ensuring that the ongoing strike is called off, adding that it will help students graduate at the stipulated time.
The leadership of ASU, they've continued to say There are issues that the federal government needs to address, the issue of funding, the issue of welfare of university staff, the issue of revitalization of the university, and these are some of the issues. So I'm not holding brief for ASUU, but they've continued to say that agreement was reached, and these agreements have been breached over the years. And so they are saying, let's go back to that negotiating table to address the issues.
The institution's classrooms, library have all been under lock and key for some time now, making the school environment a ghost of itself. A cross-section of people spoke to our correspondent on the negative impact of the strike on the education sector.
The lack of activity in the entire economy, in the entire environment, it affects the students, it affects the society, it affects business, it affects everyone in the society.
We feel fine, we feel okay, but things are very, very rough because of the strike. Yes, there's no students in the school, even the fasting and everything. They also strike mostly. They affect us badly.
Students residing at the outskirts of the institution, while lamenting the negative effect of the strike, called on the government to find a lasting solution to the ongoing strike.
They say when the two elephants are fighting, the ground suffers. And we, the students at the receiving end, we're actually suffering. We plead that the government to please listen to ASUU, because ASUU is a body that is actually doing their best to make sure they promote and strengthen the institution of Nigeria, so that they can be able to equate it according to UNESCO standard. So we're also pleading to ASUU, if ASUU on their own end should please shift ground, because we believe for us to have a unified entity, we want the ASUU should shift ground, also government to shift ground.
I'm not happy also because it's been 2 months we've been at home now. So like the strike is supposed to end, they said a month plus, and it's over 2 months, and we are hearing like they are going to extend the strike till next month. We are not happy about it now. And my elder sister too is also schooling in this school. She's in her final year, and still the strike is ongoing. She's just at home learning handwork now that she's supposed to be in school, and they're supposed to be graduating this year.
This is Nasarawa State University, Kefi, where the school used to be a beehive of activities that students in the hostels, at the basketball court, anywhere you go, it's busy. But now, the school has remained a ghost of itself. And one would attribute this to an adage which says, what sauce for the goose? Sauce for the gander, and which the federal government will curtail the lasting solution to the strike. In Kefi, Kabiru Lawal, Trust TV News.
A total of 13 out of the 19 Nigerians detained in various camps in Poland have been released. The Nigerians were released with the intervention of the Nigerian ambassador to Poland, Major General Christian Ugu. A statement signed by the head of media, public relations and a protocol unit, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abdurrahman Balogun in Abuja, said among the 6 remaining in detention camps, one of them claimed that he is a Cameroonian because the mother is from Cameroon, while the remaining 5 applied for international asylum in Poland, including Igwe Ikechukwu Christian, who was interviewed by some foreign media. It is said that due to their seeking of asylum, they cannot be released until the government of Poland takes a decision on their applications. He assured Nigerians that the mission will continue to do its best to ensure that the interest of Nigerians is taken care of at all times. Speaking on the development, the chairman CEO NIDCOM Abike Dabiri Erewa commended the successful intervention of the Nigerian mission in Poland and called on Nigerians to be law-abiding and good ambassadors of the country wherever they find themselves. On a sad note, mother of the missing social media critic Abubakar Idris, popularly known as Daddy Yatta, is dead. According to a family source, she died with hopes of reuniting with her son. The report.
The mother of the popular social media critic Abubakar Idris, popularly known as Daddy Yatta, who mysteriously disappeared in the early hours of August 2, 2019, has died at the age of 66. Daddy Yatta who could have been 37 years this year, was allegedly taken from his Barnawa home in Kaduna in 2019. According to Usman Idris, a son to the deceased and younger brother to the social media critic, said their mother, Hajia Fatima, has been devastated over the abduction of her son, Dadiata, almost 3 years ago, which is also a contributing factor to her falling health that led to her death.
Actually, we are short of words to express the condition she found herself. But initially, right from the word go, when the incidents happened, we tried as much as possible to calm her down, knowing fully that she is having the problem of, high blood pressure. So since that time, we tried to show her that if she allow the condition or the situation of things to, overtake her, what will happen is that we'll have double calamity. And with the help of God, she has maintained her stability up till the time she gave the ghost.
They said, till her last breath, she fought, begged, and sought for answers from concerned authorities on the whereabouts of her son.
Her only word is prayers. She has been in prayers with Abu Bakr. And I believe Abu Bakr has succeeded, because up till the last hours of her life, she is having a goodwill to Abu Bakr. And she has been praying fervently for his safe return and his safety wherever he is. It is unbearable, my brother. We cannot express it. But we believe as Muslims, whatever that befalls a servant is destined by Allah, and there is time for everything. He has decreed everything. So at the appointed time, either of the two will happen. Either Abu Bakr will come back to his family, or we will equally have the news of his death. Whichever that comes our way, we will take it in good faith, inshallah.
For the family left behind, they said the last 2 years have been pure torture, not being able to know what has happened to Abu Bakr, calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid.
Our hope is every day we are still optimistic that Abu Bakr will come. My call to the authorities, in fact, we have made numerous calls, but it's like our calls are falling on deaf ears. But we will continue to call. They are the ones that Allah entrusts our safety on, and their adamant attitude that they have been showing is not helping matters.
Abu Bakr Idris Dadiata was a first social media critic, commanding large followership with huge ambition. He is dearly missed by his wife and 2 young daughters who can barely remember him, but kept asking the question, when is Abba coming home? Fatima Salaladan, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
In business, Nigerians traded at least 316.9 billion naira in Bitcoin in 2021, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's restrictions on cryptocurrency transactions in the nation's banking system. Paxful, one of the biggest peer-to-peer platforms in the nation, revealed that over 6 million charts were carried out in the nation within the time under review. It noted that Nigeria is the platform's largest country based on trade volume of over $760 million for last year. According to the founder and chief executive officer of the company, Ray Youssef, Bitcoin's adoption is growing, with Africa leading the way, adding Nigeria accounts for the biggest transactions in its platform. Last February, the CBN directed banks in the nation to desist from transacting in and with entities dealing with cryptocurrencies and close the accounts of persons or entities involved in cryptocurrency transactions. On the foreign scene, a gas explosion at a coal mine in southern Poland on Wednesday killed 4, left 21 injured and 7 missing. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki expresses his condolences and said he will travel to the area. Meanwhile, authorities say rescuers are still looking for 7 other people. A second explosion occurred while rescue workers were assisting the victims of the first blast. There were 42 miners in the area where the explosion happened, and many of them suffered burns. Poland, which still relies on coal for the majority of its power, has seen several other mining accidents in recent years. And finally, in sports, Russian and Belarusian players will not be allowed to compete at Wimbledon this year because of the invasion of Ukraine. Men's world number 2 Daniil Medvedev of Russia and women's world number 4 Ariane Sabalenka of Belarus are the highest ranked players to be affected for the event, which takes place from 27th June to 10th July. Players from both countries have been allowed to compete on the tennis tour, but not under their national flags. However, they will all still be able to compete at the French Open, which begins in May. Russia was previously banned from defending its Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup team titles after the country's invasion of Ukraine, a military operation supported by Belarus. Also, the Women's Tennis Association and the Men's Association have suspended their combined event scheduled to take place in Moscow in October. The International Tennis Federation has also cancelled its events in the country. With this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.